Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's Monday. It's the start of the financial week. It's always nice. Let's take a peek at the dollar index right there on the what do you call it? The beta program. What else we got going on there? Let's take a look at it on the got Apple there too. I went to the other platform. I guess we were looking at Apple with Janos on Friday. So let's see now. Where is it at? There it is. There's the dollar index, Activate. And you'll see that on the screen also. Ding. Right there. A little pressure. Oh, what's that? They're trying to give you the 24th and the 25th. No, we don't want last night's. We want last night's and today's combined together. Where's that at? Let's fix that. We go like that. Default. Okay. There we are. That's better. Now, is that right? Is that today? Or was that Friday? That was Friday. So we can find somewhere to get into there to see that. Sometimes it just comes down to tick. There it is. Okay, there it is. So you see there, dollar backing off a little bit. I did see the euro and the cable, holding firm and lifting up after getting pushed down over the last couple of days. You see this is the dollar index, and it closed in a weekly buy last week. Hard to do anything with the news we're getting. Bostock, I guess it is. He's on the Federal Reserve. He's somebody that people pay attention to, and he came out and said there'll be only one increase this year, probably, and it'll probably be later on. Maybe he's thinking like November or December. So, but right now the commodities, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, is reflecting a 73% chance in a cut in June. And they're also talking about 2 more cuts. So what used to be 7 cuts, we're down to 3. And it's just a matter of time before we finally, get this thing, I guess, straightened out on some level or another. And obviously, the markets don't know how to invest or how to, basically, function. I mean, I think that's probably the gist of it all. That's really the real fact. They can't. They're paid to invest, so they gotta invest, and they gotta be doing things, and they gotta be putting money to work. Now they're under invested, but that doesn't stop them from doing something, but not fully up. Now will there be just? I don't know. There's. I just had a thought in my head. Are we going to see a 1982 explosion when Mr. Trump gets into office? Once it's confirmed that he's going to be the president and that he won, we're probably going to see a 1982. In 1982, I can tell you this: in 1980. The stock market at the end of the year, going into 1981, the Dow Jones Industrial Average touched the all-time high of 1,000. I think it was 64. Yeah, 1,000. That's what the Dow was. 1,064. And Trump had gotten elected. Everybody was looking forward to growth in the economy, and at the same time, inflation was at the all-time high. That's why he kind of got elected, because inflation was at 21%. The prime rate was like 20 and a half, 21. Inflation was bouncing between 21 and 20 and a half, 21 and a quarter. I think I saw something like that. That was inflation, and so we had inflation at 21. Basically 21%, and we had the Dow Jones Industrial Average trading at all-time highs of 1,064 or 63, something like that. And then what happened was, over the next that was January. And then you saw all the way up until uh, was it the summer, August of '82. The stock market backed off, slow and steadily back down to be right where Mr. Reagan got elected, and we saw this. I think this is going to be the title today too. 1982 all over again. And so then what happened was the market slowly drifted, and they got slower and slower, and there was this bill being passed in the going into the summer of '82. There were just at the end of the year. It was called the Kemp-Roth tax bill. It was a Republican senator from Delaware, and Kemp was I guess he was Buffalo or he was California, one or the other. I think he was probably Buffalo, and he was the I think he was New York congressman, and from Buffalo. He was a quarterback in the NFL. This was back in 1982, and they passed this bill, and people looked at it and they thought, "Wow, that looks really great," and the markets went totally to sleep that summer. So in other words, it was just like it was really dead. And I mean, the Dow would bounce around 2 or 3 points a day. That was about it. It was quiet. We get some 10-point moves, which was pretty big back in those days. The 100-point move was a 10% move, and a 10-point move was a 1% move. And so it kept things, steadily going on. And I remember the second week of August of '82, and so finally, I guess Reagan signed the bill, and when he signed the bill, the stock market went from 779 or 777. It was the Dow Jones Industrial Average was at 777 points or 75 points or 69 points, something like that, right around that area. And he signed the bill, and by the end of the week, the Dow was at 1,000. I think it was at 1,000, and or it was or 900 and something. The next following week, the Dow had gone up another 10% or 15%, and it was up at 1,100, and it climbed like that for in today's terms, you're talking about 10% move in the Dow Jones Industrial Average could be 10,000 points. 10,000? No. 10% move in the Dow Jones Industrial Average will be 4,000 points. 4,000 points in a day or in a week. Okay, so that kind of hit me in the head here this morning when I was saying, we're kind of dead and not really going anywhere. We're firm, just like we were firm that summer, but not really doing anything. And then, the bill was passed. Taxes came down from 73% as the high end down to 36 or something like that, or 34. I mean, it was a major shift in it all. And so when Mr. Trump gets back in, I would assume that there's chances are we could see, 2,500 point days for a couple days. In other words, money will just come pouring in. It'll probably be wild and woolly, and we'll probably see going into, now that I'm saying this, we'll start watching the straddles, the option straddles, and then so what we'll do is we'll keep an eye on that, and the next thing you know is that we'll probably see the straddles start to represent the potential of that. Just like we saw the same thing when we looked at Brexit, where I'm telling people on our webinar here, British pound's going to move about 35 handles, maybe 33 handles, something like that. That's what the options were projecting right around in that area. And they did. They moved about 35 handles after the vote. I mean, it was like, people were like, wow, that's wild. But the options usually are anticipated what the potential can be, so they're not willing to give it away. So I guess what we'll have to do is we will have to start to buy in on the straddles somewhere around, I don't know, we'll have to keep, we may start to do a straddle watch. That could be, let's see where we're at. We're going to be in April next week. So April and May, June and July, we're going to start watching straddle watches. Because when the Dow starts to reflect, a 3,000 point move in the options, Whereas now, it's only projecting probably. We'll have to go take a look at it. I'll start doing the math on it, get a page prepared, and we'll take a look and see what it's doing, and we'll watch that, because I think that could be, now I'm thinking about it, that could be the next great move, and that is, it'll just tear it up. It'll be wild and woolly, and we'll look at the options. The options will probably reflect in the currencies also. We'll have to look at the currencies action and the stock indices, and we'll be looking at a lot of that. I think we're going to start doing that. It's going to be like straddle watch, 1982, and I think that's how we're going to play it. I think that's going to be the title today, and I think it's going to be part of the scenario we're going to do now over the next, 6 months. I guess it is. It's six. April and May, June and July, August and September. October is 7 months. Okay, so we're going to start paying attention to the 7 month options, and we'll take a look at all this. In other words, they may start buying those things. We might start seeing that, and the straddle might be. I'm going to start investigating that, but we may be seeing it, and that might be an underpriced thing, or I may be just instigating amazing information for everybody out of nowhere. All right. Anyhow. All right. Let's go to. What are we going to go to next? Let's take a look at where we got on the screen now. So there's the dollar index, and I think that's going to be our recipe now for. It kind of feels. It does feel like 1982 in some ways. Where the market just doesn't seem to. It's firm and steady, but it's not that exciting. But they don't let it go. They're afraid to let it go. In other words, there's no back and filled. I think someone said this morning that we haven't seen a 2% retracement now in the stock market in something like 8 months. So ever since Mr. Trump started getting marching and showing winning in the polls, we're not seeing any 2% drops. So, all right, let's go over to the euro. See what the euro looks like this morning. Let's see. Our vice president was cheering on people, cheering, saying nasty things to her, and she was like clapping, like as if she thought it was good. Oh, crazy! All right, let's get the euro up on the screen. You can see there, it's acting pretty strong in there. You see we're a third day in a sell. We are flirting with the weekly. We're right on the edge. You can see that right. Can you see the mouse there? Let's see, which mouse is it? Right there. You see it right there. You see we're right on that edge for the weekly. It's been ever since we seem to, we got a sell here, and it's like, I guess you could go this way and look at this right here, or look from here. So in other words, you got just two buys out of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're basically been in two buys out of the last 10 days. That's it. 2 days of buy, and they've been mainly in the sell. And now we're flirting with the weekly sell there. Okay. Now, brown cow, we go over to and take a look at the intraday and see what that intraday looks like today. What the hell's all that noise? Let's see. Right. Here's the intraday for the euro. Right there. There it is. And you see the euro went into a daily buy, an intraday buy right there, and has been in it all the way up to, was it 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Went into the sell right there on that dip. Next bar, we went back into the buy for all the way up to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 again in the reverse. 2, 3. Went into the sell right there. Went back into the buy right there. And it just keeps on finding ways to go up. You know, there could be a lot of people might be thinking, geez, we might, this could be very interesting. 1982 all over again. That's pretty profound when talking about markets. 1982, because they never looked back. Even in the crash of '87. They got down to, I don't know, 1,400 points. The Dow got down to something like that. So they never gave back that move. They didn't go down and test, say, the 770 or 769 or 779 or whatever. They didn't go back and test that. I mean, markets got halted, but they didn't really test it. Okay, so from there, we go over to, where do we go there? We go to the cable, and there's the cable. Cable's the same way. It's been rocketing since like the European Open, basically. Look at that. I mean, they did go down and make a new low. Let's move that over a little bit and see if we can see. Yeah, I mean, it was like, had no decision, and all of a sudden, it just took off. So the cable's doing that same thing. Let's widen that out a little bit. That's the intraday right there. Went into a buy there. Went into a sell up in here. This is interesting how the cable's even more ebb and flow compared to the euro. Euro they're just reaching for. They're not really happy to let it go. Let's take a look at the daily and the weekly. There is the cable right there, and that's been in the sell pretty much over the last, what's that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 3, 6, 9, 10. Over the last 10 days, the cable has been in only a daily buy one day. That was it, and that was it right there. Next day made a little more higher and then rolled right over again. And you can see we are flirting with, there it is right there. We are flirting with the weekly sell. Whereas the euro is on the edge, but still in the buy. This is already flirting with it. And they're trying to lift it up a little bit here today. You can see that, especially when you go back to the intraday. You can see that long run, from the 126. I guess it's like the 125. What was that? 125.95 area, and now we're at the 126.42 area, 47 points higher, and but it's more ebb and flow. It goes into the sell there, and you can see it goes down for a little while, and then gets back into a buy and lifts more, goes into a sell right around in there, and we get that little drift, and then we get back into a buy again right there, and it just pushes it up. So right now they're flirting with another sell again to happen. Let's widen it out more. This went into the buy. Where did it go into the buy? Went into the buy right here, I guess it is, right there. So it went into the buy right there and gave a nice little jolt on the upside there. Interesting. We're going to have to do we'll do some good work over the next 5 or 6 months. I'm glad we had this conversation today, because it stirred my memory to 1982, and so that was this could be a 1982 experience getting ready to come around the corner. We're going to start pushing on that, and we'll see how far, how much traction it gets. But I think makes sense to me. It has that look to it, like 1982. Yeah, it does. Hmm. Okay, so from there we go over to the yen. Is it the yen? No, we go over to the. Yeah, we go. Oh, no, let's do daily. There is the Swiss. That's what it is. Swiss seems to have stalled out up there. Um, they're fighting the inflation over there. I give great credit to the national bank there. I'm really happy to see them do that. They didn't pull one of those fleeting thing. Was it what did the Fed chair call it for almost a year and a half? Transitory. That's it. They're not pulling the crazy transitory story out. That's good. So between the president and the treasurer, our finance minister, and the chairman of the Federal Reserve here, our central bank, they sat there and sang a song of, "Oh, this is transitory. Don't worry about it." But Switzerland definitely knew the problem, took care of the problem, is doing a fine job about the problem. I like that. From there, you can see there it's still hanging out up in there under the 90 area. It got up there, I guess not yesterday, but Friday. They went above 90 at 90.02, and no 90.20. That's what that is. 90.20, but it's back underneath there now. Either way, it's come down from 101 down to 83 and a half, something like that. So to see it trading up around 89.90 is fine with me. It's any country would love to have their currency act this way. All right. So now we go over to the yen. Oh, let's just do this. I want to see the intraday and see what the intraday looks like, since we have it. There it is, right there. Yeah, it's trying to drop off a little bit there. Nice. It's just jumped into the buy right there again. And so, it's pushing up. It's pushing up. Push. All right, from there we'll go over to the yen. See what the yen's doing. There's the intraday. Let's go take a look at the daily, weekly first. And there it is right there. You see it's trying to get into a sell. It's very close. Matter of fact, it is. It's at minus 0.04. The weekly is holding on. It went into the weekly buy last week. It's holding on. It's at 0.37. Might be trapped up here for a little bit. Not sure how to interpret, with the way the yen is, or what we like to call the $20 trillion pairs trade, but it will be part of the observation that we're going to have to start looking at, and that is we're going to start looking out what they're thinking about in the in the straddle for November, the November straddles. So that'll be very interesting, and see what they're anticipating. If they're anticipating a 3,000 point move, a 5,000 point move, as we get closer to it, we will monitor it and we will show you each day. We'll keep an eye on that. All right. From there, we go over to we were looking at the intraday. There it is, right there. Just doing a little pop off of this 151 area. Kind of quiet. Went into the buy. It's at 6 back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So it went into the buy. There's 3. 1, 2, 3. Went into the buy right there on that close. It's a nice little push on the upside. All right, from there we go to the Great Experiment. And it's been in a daily sell, the Great Experiment, for like 3 days now. 3 trading days, that is. There. And you can see it went into the sell here. And after closing, a bunch of all-time closing highs. Closing closes. I'm sorry, closing closes. All-time closing closes. And That's always even more important than the highs. And then you can see here, it's been pushing. And the weekly has been in a weekly buy now since, I guess it was September. Yeah, mid-September. Second week in September it went into the buy. So right there on the 12th. And so it's been, and that was in the 28s, 29 area. And now we're in the 35-ish area, 34.85 with a high of 36. So we got exactly what we were unfortunately expecting. I like to say unfortunately because we're not happy that the people in Turkey get beat up by their currency this way. All right. Let's see. From there, we go over to the South African Rand, and we'll start looking at the metals complex. So we're starting to move away from the currencies. If anybody would like to see any currency, you're welcome to just put it up on the chat line. We'll take a look at whatever you want to see. So there we are. You're looking at the South African Rand. You can see it's kind of had an upwardly projection or direction. And you see it's been in a daily buy for 2 days, and it's just pushing up. I don't know if they're going to go after the 1920 area, but you can see we are in a weekly sell. So this should, I would assume, get back into a daily sell and roll over. What else can we say about it? And let's put it up over. Let's take a look at the gold to start off with. When the South African Rand is losing against the dollar like it is right now, usually gold is going down. And right now, it's heading for a sell in there, but it is higher today than it was at the close of Friday. So there's some pressure coming in both directions. The algorithm is saying don't trust this at the same time, and on a daily basis. On the weekly basis, the algorithm is saying longer term investors are here and they're not going away. I mean, look at the green line, how high up it is over the white histogram and way over the manifold, both of them, the histogram and the green line. The only thing on a short-term basis is jumping out at us is we see the fast weekly algorithm is actually in the minus. So, and then obviously the daily, because it's showing that fast action, it's doing the same thing. It's showing us that minus. From there, we take a look at silver. There's silver. Silver's been in a sell for 3 days, not really going anywhere. And at the same time, you can see it's on an 8th week on the buy side. So the longer-term investors are not that happy as selling either. We're not seeing that weakness in the weekly as much as we do in other things. Right now, it's just pushing and pushing to, just probably sideways more. What can you say? I mean, we know a couple things. If the 1982 scenario plays out, interest rates are going to go lower. Stock market's going to go higher. Commerce is going to grow. Inflation is going to go down. I guess minus the inflation part, it always benefits silver. Lower interest rates. I guess, let me think what else makes it a bad situation for silver on a price tag. But that seems to be the answer to it all, is that the metals market is going to go sideways for a while. And I guess flirt on the upside. We looked at we're following right now the April. I think it's the April contract in gold. Let me just show you the April contract in gold. Yeah, that's the April contract in gold, and it's trading at $2,175, almost $76. Now, when we look at the April contract in 2025, a year away. We're looking at, let's see if we can put it, I'll put it up on this thing. Let's see. Right there. And we'll put the futures in. And you'll be able to see this. Gold. And here you go. Now you'll be able to see this. So the month right now, the front month is at $2,175 basically. 21.75 we'll say. And when looking at the April, where is that? Right there. There's the April of 25. Oh, let's try it this way. Here's the April of 25. Right there. We highlighted it right there. You can see it's trading at 20. Where did it close at? It closed at on Friday at $2,291. Okay, so it is almost $22 higher, $122 premium for 1 year, which is over 5%. And so when someone says, we think gold is going to 2,500, well, in 2000, that's 2025. That's 1 year away. And then when you go and look at April of 2026, where is it at? In between there, it's at $2,375. And then you go to April of 27, it's $2,475. So it keeps on reflecting, that 2,500 area with no problem, just over the next couple of years, and that's pretty much the action. And it's telling us that they don't want to, as much as you think that they want to sell this thing, they're not. And you notice we've been in a weekly buy for, this is the 5th week, and it's moved up almost $200 from that signal. And I don't really see them running away from it, but I would have to believe if the scenario plays out, gold and so forth, as long as there's no geopolitical situations that are bothering anybody, we should see some average sideways action, and the rest of them should fly. I would imagine that will be the way it goes. All right, now from there we'll go over and take a look at platinum. Platinum is trying to lift up today. It's getting a little bit closer right there. You see the weekly is just about through too. I believe the green is a plus by 0.48, I think it is. And so, it's 48. So the green is trying to get through the buy area. It is. It's pushing on it. There. And there's the platinum. And we always have a hard time believing people are going to sell that stuff down, but in these times with the way the central banks control the equities and the metals and all like that, it's pretty hard not to see it do what they want. And then last but not least, we go over to the copper. Just more problems in real estate over there, and just the economy is dragging out, and they're trying to stimulate. They're trying to stimulate their economy, but socialist economies don't usually stimulate very well. So a lot of cash flow, but nothing more than that. They don't get the growth they need. All right, so there's the copper, and it's down a little bit again today. It's been in the daily sell for 4 days now. This is the 4th, but it's still in a weekly buy. It's not letting go. It's steady. They're not trying to throw it away, or they seem to be just holding on very comfortably. Now from there, let's see what we got right there. Let's go to the energy sector, and we'll take a look at, where is that? Oh, can't even see, can you? And the platinum more of that you didn't see. Let's go back to that. So there's the copper. It's been pressing down, and then here is the platinum trying to push up, and it's not through the daily yet. It's at minus 167 on the daily, but there it is. There, let's see, where is it at? It's right there. It's at 36 now on the weekly. So we're seeing some attempt to buy to get into a position. All right. Crude oil there's the crude trying to lift up. It's been in a sell for a couple days from here, but it hasn't gone anywhere. It's staying in the weekly buy. Let's take a look at it on the beta right there. And go, let's see, where's mouse at? Get rid of that. And there is crude oil right there. You see it's in that sell for a couple days. And, you know, it's the fourth. Is it the fourth? This is the what is that? That is, yeah, so that right now is up to date with that at the moment. And the weekly is up to date. It's in the buy. And we'll know what today is tonight and going into tomorrow. But you can see here on the daily today, you know, it's still in that 3-day sell with the rest of this right there. And then let's go take a look at Brent, North Sea oil. Same situation as West Texas Intermediate in a daily sell for 3 days and done. And the weekly, you know, in a solid buy for 4 solid weeks. And they're not really afraid to push these things up. All right, there we are. From there, we shoot over to natural gas right there. There's natural gas. It tried to get into the buy there last week, and it failed at it. Look at that. All those sells. Just sells upon sells. Seems to be parked in that $1.50 area. It's like the $1.65, $1.65, $1.75 area. And so, and that is really the action we see there, and there is no stopping it. You know, just you know, under Trump, I think it's interpreting the Trump situation more than anything else. You know, because we have an enormous amount of natural gas, and we were shipping it all around the world, and all of a sudden, Mr. Biden says no. And so that'll change, and that's why they're not anticipating higher prices. From there, let's see. We go over to the energy company down in Spain. And there it is there. You know, it's just hanging out in the... Okay, so there's 1968 was the low today, and 1979 trading. Now Friday they pressed it at the end of the day. Look at that. They went down to 1967 on Friday. What's interesting is now I'm seeing some lower quotes. I didn't see that right there. The low of 1951. So they're really anticipating the same thing as the futures contracts are, and that is that the price tag is saying no buyers, no mas, no buyers at the moment. They're just, you know, mildly buying for what's needed, but they're not anticipating that it's going to go flying through the roof, you know, at massive prices, which is a good thing, obviously, because, you know, people need that stuff for the wintertime to you know, to do things with, you know. And even when we go and look at April of next year, we're looking under $3. Now there is some action that kicks in January and February that gets it up over $3.50, 60 cents too, but overall, we're seeing the May contract at 177, and this is the April contract at 162. And when you shoot out, it takes a couple years to get it up over $4. Back in December of 25, it'll be at $4. They're saying at the moment. That's the bigger question. You know, those back months can shift around pretty dramatically. Like April of 25, it's at under $3 again. So it's not that exciting when it comes to that stuff. Compared to those days of $7 and $8 and $9 and $10 natural gas a unit. Now, from there, we'll go take a look at some of the world's activities for the day. Let's look at Tokyo and see how the Nikkei is acting with all this good action in the currencies. Where's the Nikkei? There it is. There's Nikkei. You see Nikkei sold off a little bit this morning. They brought it back down to the 40,000 area from the last couple of days, touching around the 41,000 area. That's off that's 1,000 points. And we're flirting with the daily sell, as you can see right there today. And let's see, right there. And at the same time, the weekly is still in that buy for 10 weeks. So they've been reading that whole move from the 36,000 area to the, I think it started off in weekly buy at like 33. So, it ran, what was that, 7,000 points? Nice move. It's like a 1982 thing. From there, we'll go over to the Kospi in South Korea. Holding up well, but it's down. You can see that right there. It's down from yesterday. Closed at 2,748 basically, and today it settled at 2,740, almost 42. So off a little bit there. You can see here it's 3 days in the daily buy, and you can see also 10 full weeks in a weekly buy. Excuse me. I think I'll have a sip of tea. Anybody out there want to say hi to me? Make me feel like I'm not sleeping and having a dream? I'll call this dream 1982. All right. And then from there, the South Korean indices, let's go to Taiwan. The Taipei index, right there. Taipei holding up pretty well, even with that chip situation that went on in China over the last weekend. We've got, there was, I guess they were saying they're backing away from buying American chips. And there's also serious talk of, what is it there? They're going to dump Microsoft in China and basically only have like some local platforms. Local platforms. So, it's a little issues going on there with the Chinese economy and the markets. And there it is right there, the Taipei, holding on pretty well. It's the major chip manufacturer and not complaining, is it? It's been more buys than sells on a daily basis, as you can see right there. And you can see same thing on a weekly situation over 10 weeks in a weekly buy. So there's not a lot of sweating bullets there, is there, really? And we let's see what else is there. I see that the Coast Guard, Chinese Coast Guard, keeps on firing water cannons at other ships, spraying each other. It's like Mardi Gras. Next thing you know, it'll be lifting their uniforms up so you can see their chests. It's crazy. All right, let's see. Giving out beads, all the basics the Chinese Coast Guard will be doing. And so it'll be Mardi Gras in the South Pacific. All right, from there we go over to, let's see, what was that? That is, we're looking at Taiwan. So let's go from Taipei to Australia. Ooh, look at that pop in the Australian action. And daily buys for 4 full days. Weekly buy for over 10 weeks. Australia's not complaining. Maybe they're going to figure they'll get a piece of the action when China goes and does things. Maybe they can sell some items to China. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. And then we go over to the Nifty 50. Let's see what the Nifty 50 is doing today. Nifty 50 lifting up also. Putting some charge into that. And you can see the daily is really confused there. And so, it's up into the buy. So it picked up the move on Friday. And let's see if we can get that there. Let's do this. We'll go like this. We're going to amplify that whole thing. And that is Friday. Okay, so they're not even updating today yet. they haven't started updating the market. Interesting. Maybe it's a holiday. Are there more cows on the street or less? I don't know. It might be a holiday. You can see it's holding on to that buy. Then from there we go over to the Hang Seng. Let's see what the Hang Seng is looking at. This way we have a general idea what the world is doing. There's the Hang Seng. And you can see that's been in a daily sell for 7 days. Yeah, 7 days. And down a little bit, not that bad. And you can see the weekly is flirting with the sell side at this point right there. And then, let's see. So let's take a look at Hong Kong. I understand they passed some really harsh laws in Hong Kong. Makes it very hard to want to do business there. And, you know, look at that. It popped from that news. Maybe they did it last. They might have done it not on that exact point. So in other words, that news that I heard this morning might be from today after the market was closed. Because it's showing some strength there, and you would have thought it would go on the other way. Because they now are going to have closed courts where you can't even. And you can be pulled in and not have your lawyer. I guess something like that. You know, it's like they're really making it hard for businesses to do business in that city of Hong Kong. All right. So from the what is that? That's the South Pacific and the Pacific Rim, you know, in India and so forth. Let's now take a look at Europe. Let's see what Europe's doing this morning. Europa. Let's take a look at the DAX. Right there. There's the DAX. DAX is up firm. Daily buys are firm right there. And the weekly is firm. So DAX is not upset about any of this that's going on. And then from there, let's go over to Paris. There's the CAC 40. And we're looking at a second day in a sell. Not going too fast, but it's pressuring it. I'm still in the long weekly buy of over 10 weeks. And you can see when you look at that daily chart, a lot of buying going on. A lot of buying. You can see the white bar is way in the plus more than in the minus over the last something like 7 weeks. It's been very firm market, not letting go. And a lot of money is anticipating they need to be invested. Even if they're underinvested, at least they have some skin in the game, as they would say around here. And so that's pretty much the action there. Let's go over to FTSE. See what the FTSE is up to today. FTSE. Right there. There's the FTSE. You can see FTSE is in a daily buy for 4 days, weekly buy for 10 weeks, and you can see the last 3 days have been explosive. It's been in a buy since here, like that. So since the 77.37 area, and now we traded as high as 79.50, and today we are down at 7,900. So they're putting some little selling action in there. It didn't make a new high, and it's not, obviously it hasn't made a new low either. It seems to be stalled in between both of those at this point. So we're not seeing, we're seeing, I guess you could say a weak FTSE. That's pretty much what it comes down to. It's a weak FTSE. All right. So now from there, we're going to jump over to the American markets. And we'll check out Bitcoin also with that. So let's go to the S&P 500 to start off with. Excuse me. Right, where is it at? Right there. There it is. And there's the, it's backing off a little bit. We're flirting with a daily sell. You can see that right there. And we're still in the weekly buy, but not by much. Well, here it is. But I think I saw it closer down. Let's see. Excuse me. Let's see. Where is it at? Yeah, there it is on our main platform. Let's go back to that for a second. There it is. See, the weekly is holding up still, but it is being pressured. It's under the manifold. Both are right there. Fast is kind of dead. I'll keep an eye on that, but that is the action. Then from there, we go over and take a look at the NASDAQ 100 or the Tech 100. Right there, doing the same thing, showing the weakness. It's only been 2 weeks in the buy. And let's see what we can show you over on the bigger platform. And put it up on there like so, like that. Bing bong, bing bong. And, oh, look at that. Minus 130 on the weekly. Interesting. Let's get that going there. Minus 130. That's putting even more pressure. That's probably because of the decision made in China that they want to cut out American-made chips and some American software. So that probably is putting some pressure on the the Tech 100. It's called the Tech 100 for that reason. It's got some sophisticated stocks in there that are household names that people use every day to do commerce and play games, whatever, buy food, the whole bit, shop, do business, so forth and so on. Then from there we'll jump over to, let's see right there, and there is the Dow Jones Industrial Average pushing into the sell also, and it's trying to get into the weekly sell right there, looking kind of weakish. Let's see what it looks like over here. Right there, and that's it. Yeah, that's it right there. Let's put that in. Right there, you can see that. It's pushing into the daily sell on the weekly. It's not as bad as the NQs, the Tech 100. And then from there, let's go over to the what's the name of it? The Russell 2000, right there. Put it there, and we're going to put it here. Russell 2000. Where's it at? Russell 2000. Oh, okay, right there. There it is. So you can see here it's pushing into the sell today. Up a little bit though, upticking at the moment. Not pushing into the weekly sell yet. Speculative money, will, it'll be popping this particular index up more than most of the others. And let me just show it to you over here too. There's the daily. It's been in a daily buy, and now it's playing with this weekly. Is that it? Yeah. Right there. There it is. So you can see the daily sell it's playing with, but the weekly it's not letting go. It's pretty comfortable with that. And that's the RTY, or Russell 2000. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin right there. There's Bitcoin right there. There we go. And they're showing some buying here last night and today. And it's trying to climb back up again. Let's take a look at, well, we're there. Let's jump over to, let's see, that's on there. Let's go over to the other platform and look at the GBTC. Right there. You see, it's higher, that's for sure. It's in a weekly buy with no problem, but for some reason it's starting to flirt with the weekly, the daily sell. So the cryptos are just a little shaky in there. I think that's the best way to describe it. All right, traders, we're done. This is Doc from North America. Got to get ready for the markets that open up in about 3.5 minutes. So we're going to put the label into this, the title, in other words. And I think it's a definitely insightful one, too. That's the most fascinating part of it all. Let's see, right there. And we're going to call it, I think I want to say it before I sing. I'll sing. Happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be tomorrow. Happy trails to you, to all our webinar and trading friends. All right, now let's get the title of this thing in, and the title will be, title will be, okay, there's title. There we go. Will be looking like 1982. Let's put in there. Or how about 1982 again? I think that's more like better. 82. Summer of, how about we put in there? Summer of 1982. I think that's it. That sounds good to me. That sounds great to me. Let's see if it got in there. There it is. I see it. Title, Summer of 1982. I think that's where we're at. All right, traders. Catch you later. Be safe, be smart, and we will talk tomorrow morning. Ta-ta.